So good morning. We have finished 4 units and today we are starting a new chapter, that is unit number 5, balancing. The balancing is one of the important requirement in mechanical engineering is concerned, that is in the installation of the equipment as well as running of the equipment, and so many applications of balancing are available in the domain field of mechanical engineering. So our lecture of balancing today's class will go like this. First we'll discuss the need of balancing, then we will see types of balancing, then we'll solve a problem. Okay, that is today's lecture. Let me tell you first need of balancing. Why we require balancing? If you don't do the balancing, what is going to happen, and what are the repercussions if you don't balance in a proper way? So the first thing is nowadays the equipment which you are using in day-to-day life are running not less than 1000 rpm. So in the olden days 200 rpm, 300 rpm itself is a higher speeds. So at that moment the unbalanced forces was not huge magnitudes, whereas nowadays even if you see your simple appliances like your washing machine, your wet grinder, your mixie jar, so many domestic appliances, they themselves will run more than like 1000 rpm, 2000, 3000 rpm. If you talk about gas turbines, they run more than 20,000 rpm. So these high speed equipment, if they are not properly balanced, then there will be large amount of unbalanced forces will develop and it causes vibrations, and they also damage the entire equipment. Okay, so that is why you have to balance the components or the equipment very perfectly. So just let me give a small example. If you don't balance some of the equipment, what they are going to happen? Most of you have seen a table fan which is rotating its blades or the wings, and it provides the air. So those blades are properly mounted and they are stable in its nature, and it will run very smooth in style. Just conduct a small experiment. Out of the 3 blades, you just cut a small part of one of the blade of your table fan. Small, not the entire blade. Okay, so then you switch on your fan and you can see, because of unbalance in the blades, the entire table fan will move from its location. It moves like a robo, how it walks, isn't it? Of course, this is not desired by us. Our desired requirement is fan to be stable at a location and it has to give the wind. Okay, so a simple small piece which you cut from the a properly balanced blades will cause such a displacement of the entire fan. So this is a small classical example which I observed. It was happened one of the day in our student days. One of our fan Okay, when we operated it, the blade was bent because of some uh, accident or some mistake. So then we observed the entire fan was moving just like a robot, and we identified practically that the out of balance causes a tremendous or a disaster in real life if you don't properly guide them, isn't it? So, either steam engines or gas turbines, or if it your IC engines, you have to balance the components in a right way. Otherwise, there will be huge amount of out of balance that develops, and that causes enormous damage to the components. Okay, so that is the need of balancing. Then let us see type of unbalance. So the unbalance will happen either due to rotating masses or due to reciprocating masses. So we would like to our lecture or our entire unit discussion in two parts. One is rotating masses unbalance, and the second one is a reciprocating masses unbalance. So one is rotating masses unbalance and the other one is reciprocating masses unbalance. Take an example like an IC engine. So in an IC engine, that is internal combustion engine, you have various parts named as piston, okay, crank, connecting rod, so on. Okay, there are various elements in an IC engine named as a piston, crank, connecting rod. So I will take a piston and crank, okay, connecting rod having both rotary and reciprocating motion. I will take piston and crank as main elements. If you look at the operation of the piston always reciprocates like horizontal or vertical. It depends upon your engine, horizontal engine or vertical engine. And where crank is always revolves either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So these reciprocating parts, okay, or reciprocating elements will cause certain unbalance if you don't balance properly. Similar revolving mass like cranks also provide certain unbalance if they are not properly balanced. So the unbalance can be happened due to revolving masses or rotating masses, and they are also can be happened because of reciprocating masses. So we would like to focus mainly first on rotating masses unbalance, okay. Then in the second half of our lectures we will go for reciprocating masses unbalance. So whether it is a rotating masses unbalance or reciprocating masses unbalance, okay, the procedure is same, because we would like to convert the reciprocating masses unbalance also an equivalent to rotating masses unbalance. Okay, so that is rotating masses as well as the reciprocating masses unbalance. Then how we can classify the balancing? So there are two types of classifications which I made. One is internal balancing and external balancing. So the types of balancing, I distinguished them like internal balancing and external balancing. So what is internal balancing and what is external balancing? Let us see. See, like there is a shaft, okay, which is revolving in a bearings. in a bearings A and B. So this shaft, okay. So assume this shaft have an unbalance at one particular plane, like here there is an unbalance. This unbalance mass is say m, and it is situated at a distance of r from the axis of rotation. Okay, so this unbalance, okay, because it is not at the axis of rotation, it is situated at a distance of r. Okay, then it causes a centrifugal force m r omega square. M r omega square, which is an unbalanced force. So this unbalanced force can be balanced. You can put another mass exactly opposite to that, okay, with a mass of say m1 with a radius of r1, okay, with a mass of m1 and radius of r1. So this also causes a centrifugal force which is m1 r1 omega square, because both of them are connected to same shaft. If mass m rotates at a omega speed, then mass m1 also rotates at same speed of omega square. So as I said, they are kept on the same plane, exactly opposite. So whatever the centrifugal force that is produced by this mass m, that will be counterbalanced by this mass m1. So we can write simply the balancing equation like this: mr omega square is equal to m1 r1 omega square. So omega square can get cancelled, then it will be mr is equal to m1 r1. That means if I select my mass m1 such a way that so the product of m1 r1 is equal to mr, then it will be balanced. Here the mass is placed exactly in the opposite side. Okay, this is called internal balancing. So we are placing the mass exactly. So unbalance is in this plane, and I have placed the mass in the same plane exactly on the opposite side. This is what we call internal balancing. This is called internal balancing. This is called internal balancing. Okay, then we have another one which is called external balancing. So here you can see, because of this internal balancing, my reactions at A and B will become 0. RA is equal to RB is equal to 0. So in case of external balancing, so take the same case, like I have a shaft which is mounted in a bearings like similar way A and B. So unbalance is there at some location, like unbalance here M with R unbalance. So this unbalance is balanced by placing two masses not in the same plane in two different planes. So I can balance this like placing M1, M2 at a distances of R1, R2 from the axis of rotation. So instead of balancing, simply one mass exactly opposite, I am providing here two masses which are opposite to the unbalance. This is the unbalance actually. This is the unbalance. Unbalance mass. This is balanced by providing two masses. So these masses are also connected to the same shaft. Then the centrifugal force developed by this mr omega square is equated to m1 r1 omega square plus m2 r2 omega square. So omega square can get cancelled. Then we have mr is equal to m1 r1 plus m2 r2. Okay, so if you balance this way, this is called external balancing. External balancing. One is called internal balancing and other one is called external balancing. So here also RA is equal to RB is equal to 0. But the unbalance is balanced by introducing two masses in a two different planes, not exactly on the same plane where unbalance is there. So I have introduced mass 1 here and mass 2 here, and they are situated at R1 and R2 such a way that the unbalanced force of centrifugal force mr omega square is equated to m1 r1 omega square plus m2 r2 omega square. So this is one classification based upon the masses where we keep either it is exactly opposite or in a two different planes. These are called internal balancing and external balancing. Okay, and let us see one more balancing type is a static and dynamic balancing. So let us see what is static balancing and what is a dynamic balancing. Static balancing and dynamic balancing. So don't misunderstand. Static balancing means it is balanced when it is under a steady state, and dynamic balancing means it is balanced under dynamic state. It is not the case. Static balance and dynamic balancing is if you balance forces, then it is called static balancing. If you balance both forces and the moments are coupled. Okay, so static balancing and the dynamic balancing differs like this. Suppose, let us assume you have balanced only forces only, but you have not balanced for the couples. Okay, then it is said to be static balancing. In the other way, if you balance both forces and couples, then it is called dynamic balancing. That means a system with dynamic balancing is already balanced for static balancing. Okay, that means if your mass center of the axis, if it is coincides the mass center of entire system, then it is simply said to be under static balancing. So center of the mass system should be on the axis of rotation, which results the static balancing. So let me repeat once again, what is static balancing? In technically, we can call this center of mass of the system. Okay, center of the mass of the system should be on the axis of rotation. That means like you can take n number of masses which are placed in a different planes or whatever it may be. So the entire mass center of this system, if it is matches with the axis of rotation, okay, then it is simply said to be statically balanced. Statically balanced. But in that case, the couples are not balanced. Whereas in dynamic balancing, so it is balanced for both statically as well as dynamically. That means both forces and couples are balanced. So usually balancing means a dynamic balancing. We never talk about simply a static balancing. That means the system is balanced for both forces as well as couples. Okay, unless it is asked balance for only forces, okay, we will go for both force balancing as well as the couple balancing. Okay, so we have discussed about the need of balancing, and we talked about what is unbalanced due to rotating masses and reciprocating masses as per the IC engine is concerned. Then we made a classification of balancing like internal balancing and external balancing. In internal balancing, the mass is exactly kept in the opposite direction of an unbalanced plane, and whereas in external balancing, two different planes are selected to balance the unbalance. That is the difference. And finally, we said a static and dynamic balancing is one. A static balanced system is a one which is balanced for forces, and a dynamic balancing system is a one which is balanced for both forces and couples. Okay. Now we'll see the various techniques of balancing in a 4 cases. Now let us see the 4 different cases under balancing of rotating masses. The first case is balancing of single rotating mass by a single rotating mass in the same plane. The second one is balancing of single rotating mass by 2 masses rotating in different planes. The third one, balancing of several masses rotating in the same plane. Then last one, balancing of several masses rotating in different planes. So first 3 are very simple, and last one, that is balancing of several masses in a different planes. Okay, so that is the main attention for another 5-6 classes, which we would like to solve so many problems under different cases. So let us see the first one, balancing of single mass rotating mass by single rotating mass in the same plane. Now let us see, there is a mass which is mounted on a shaft. So this is actually an unbalance, and this unbalance is situated at a point, and that point we can take it as a plane like M, okay, and it is situated at a distance of R from the axis of rotation. So as you see, because of this unbalance, it causes a centrifugal force when it is under rotation, causes an unbalance of mr omega square. So this can be balanced by introducing another mass of m1 with a radius at r1, which will result the centrifugal force mr omega square is equal to m1 r1 omega square, or mr is equal to m1 r1. So this is what we have just now discussed under the name of internal balancing. So there I defined this is an internal balancing, just keeping the mass in the same plane. That is the one method of distinguishing the balancing technique. Here this comes under the another classification or another variety, that is unbalance is in one plane and it is balanced by introducing one mass. So single rotating mass is balanced by another single rotating mass in the same plane. That means let us say, if you see the side view, let us say, if you draw the side view, suppose if this mass is here, then the unbalance is balanced by introducing another mass m1 exactly opposite to that with a radius of r1, so that mr is equal to m1 r1. This is one of the case. Then coming to the second case, what is it? A single rotating mass is balanced by introducing, okay, two different masses in two different planes. That is what we called internal balancing and external balancing, distinguishing the second criteria. So here there is a shaft where there is unbalance in one particular plane, say M at R, and this is balanced by introducing in two different planes, say M1 R1 and M2 R2. So we have introduced two different masses. One is M1 at R1 radius and another one is M2 R2. So we can write mr omega square is equal to M1 R1 omega square plus M2 R2 omega square. Okay, so this is the other category, that is introducing two different masses in two different planes, which is not in the same plane where there is an unbalance. Okay, so that is the second case. What about the third case? Balancing of several masses rotating in the same plane. Balancing of several masses rotating in the same plane. So in this case, let us see what is going to happen. So this is the case 3. This is the case 3 where there are n number of masses rotating in the same plane, like you can see there is one mass like in this direction, then another mass in the other direction, then another mass in the other direction, like another mass in the other direction. Say M1 R1, M2 R2, M3 R3, M4 R4, so on. But all of them are on the same plane. This is actually side view. If you look at its front view, all are on the same plane. That means there are different masses at a different radius. Okay, you can see one is here and another one is here. The third one is somewhere here. Okay, like 1, 2, 4 at R1, R2, R4, and there is one more somewhere M3. So all of them are in the same plane. All of them are on the same plane. Okay, that's why you can see in the side view, all of them are in the same plane. So you can identify them, the angles theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 and theta 4. theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, theta 4 with reference to this theta is 0. So you can take any reference one, but I have taken this is the one. Okay. Now this type of system is balanced by introducing a single mass in the same plane. That means you are introducing one more mass in the same plane. Where we will introduce, how we introduce is, let us show, one is graphical method and another one is analytical method. One is graphical method and another one is analytical method. So let me first introduce the graphical method. See, this M1 R1, M2 R2, M3 R3, M4 R4 are causing a centrifugal forces of M1 R1 omega square, M2 R2 omega square, so on. So those forces will be in a direction parallel to their location. So if you draw for a scale the M1 R1 omega square with a, like in this orientation, I will take the origin point somewhere here, M1 R1 omega square parallel to this, then M2 R2 omega square, it will be like this, then M3 R3 omega square somewhat like this, then fourth one M4 R4 omega square like this. You can see the last side is not closed one because it is unbalanced state. Suppose if I close it like this, then it is said to be the system is under balanced state. The system is under balanced state. That means if I have one more mass like this, then the system is said to be balanced one. So to balance this system, I have to introduce a resultant of this opposite to this. Okay, so you can see here 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 like this. This is the one which is going to be closing the polygon. So if I introduce a mass in this direction, so I can balance the system. That means, like if I introduce like this, whatever the direction I get here, that way, so I can find this angle, of course, the resultant or whatever the angle, it will be theta. So the force polygon, this is called force polygon. This is called force polygon. How this can be closed? This can be closed by writing, say, M R omega square, the resultant. So if I select a mass of M with a radius of R, mass of M with a radius of R, which can balance the entire system. That means you can see the sum of these forces M1 R1 omega square, M2 R2 omega square, M3 R3, M4 R4 as well as MR omega square will give the zero, sum of the forces. Sum of the forces 0. So graphically we can find out what is the mass required. If you know the radius, where you can put the radius, or if you know the radius, you can find out what is the mass you have to put it to make the system to be balanced. This is a graphical method. And how to do the analytical method? In analytical method, we resolve the components like horizontal components and vertical components. Like this is, say, MR omega square So the force polygon is closed one. So the forces resolves, okay, that horizontal components and vertical components also to be balanced. So this is mr omega square, you can see it's horizontal component and vertical component. So mr omega square sin theta will be the vertical component, mr omega square cos theta is the horizontal component, that is sigma h and sigma v, vertical components and horizontal components. So horizontal component is m r omega square, okay, cos theta. So m I r I omega square cos theta, and vertical components are m I r I omega square sin theta. So you can resolve all the four forces like m1 r1, m2 r2, m3 r3, m4 r4 like this, horizontal components as well as vertical components. So if the system has to be balanced, then the resultant should be 0, that is sigma h plus sigma v. The resultant r is equal to root over sigma h square plus sigma v square. So when we resolve all these forces, and if you find out this resultant, that is equated to, this resultant is equated to m r omega square. What is m? M is the mass to be introduced, whereas the r is the corresponding radius of rotation, omega is the angular speed. Okay, then you can also find out the angle, that is tan theta is equal to sigma v by sigma h. So analytically we can find out how much mass at what radius to be placed, or how much radius you decide for the given mass, at what angle you have to place it, because if you write this components of sigma v by sigma h, which gives the sin theta by cos theta, is the tan theta. So this is the graphical as well as the analytical method, that single plane n different masses are balanced by introducing one mass in the same plane. Okay, so we will see the problems in the next class, and finally the one balancing of several masses rotating in different planes. So this is the fourth category, where there are n number of unbalances in different planes. So in the earlier case, you have seen n masses, but all of them are in the same plane. But whereas here, the unbalances are like m1 r1, say m2 r2, m3 r3, m4 r4, so on. They are in a different planes at a different angles. If you look at its side view, one may be like here, one, the other one may be like 2, and the other one may be at another location, and the another one may be at another location, like this. See, the unbalances are in a different planes, plane 1, plane 2, plane 3, plane 4. These unbalances are existing in a different planes. They are going to be balanced by introducing two masses, usually by introducing two masses. Those two masses can be introduced at any location, either like here, or say this way, or you can also have like this way, or sometimes by rearranging the masses and its orientation in the existing planes itself, you can balance it if you identify the unbalance in the system. Okay, so this is the fourth case which we would like to practice more number of problems, minimum 4 to 5 classes. We will take the fourth one, that is the balancing of several masses rotating in different planes by introducing two masses in two different planes or with single plane or whatever it may be. Okay, so in the next lecture we will solve the problems based upon the case 1, case 2, case 3, and I will introduce the case 4 by taking one case study. We will see in the next lecture the problems as well as the analysis part of the fourth category. Thank you.